In the sense, you have dimension data, you have fact data in your real-time application, right? So this file may contain some referential data, another file may contain some what is it, fact data. So if I want to join one file with another file, I will go for join component. So in the lookup also, you can perform the matching operation. So what you have to do is, what is the file you have the matching values, from which file you want to extract the matching records, that file you can include in the lookup dataset component. Okay, as the name indicates here, your uh, your current process, I mean your the graph you are designing for your business requirement, can perform a simple lookup. Okay, can perform a simple lookup operation to get the matching value from this lookup data set. Okay, so we have some advantages in lookup over join component. We'll discuss about that. So first we will complete about lookup, then we'll discuss about the differences between the join and lookup. Okay, so now what I want to do is the same example I want to show you using lookup. Let me disable this one. I am running the graph. So yeah, I got 5 records out of 11 5, right? I will use the lookup. I will get the same 5 records. Okay, so we'll try to understand the lookup in terms of join. So now I want to take this as a lookup file, right? So this is amount file, this is rank file. Okay, let me rename this one. This is customer amount file, and the second one is rank file, right? So rank file I want to just look up. So forget about this graph now. Okay, forget about this graph. Hmm. Okay, so I'm taking this as lookup. So how can I take, that means I can also convert this as lookup. I'm taking this as lookup file. Okay, copy the URL. So this I want to take as a lookup now, my rank file. In the URL I am passing the same path. Okay, DML also I want to copy the same DML from here. Okay, I have the customer ID. Separator one means it's a kind of delimiter. Okay, so pipe delimiter we have in this file. Record format, copy and paste, validate, save the changes. Record format you can see here instead of port stub, because there is no port. This is the only one component in the Abinitio. Lookup component only, won't have any ports here. There won't be any port. So without having port also, you can get the data from the data set with the help of the functions. Okay, that's why you don't see any port tab here. You can see parameters tab. In the parameters you can see record format. Your record format is same like your port only. You must provide the record format for your lookup URL here. So what is the key? Coming to my join. So how I am able to join two files? What is the key? The key here I am using is the cust ID. Same key I want to use here also. Open this one, parameters, open the key, provide the cust ID. So in the lookup also you can see the key parameter. So lookup also looks like your same join component only now. This is my lookup file now. Okay. So this flow I need, right? The input file I need. I don't need sort component. I don't need join component. Okay. So this is my amount file, right? So my requirement here is, forget about the join flow now. Forget about this flow. My requirement is I have a file in my hand. My file name is what is it? Input 0. So this file contains only customer information. Okay, so I have this file. This file contains the customer ID, first name, last name, amount I have, right? So along with these three fields, customer ID, first name, last name, amount, along with these four fields, I want one more field which is called rank field based on the amount. So I already have a file that already contains some ranks for each customer. So my business assigns some kind of ranks for a customer. Based on the ranks, they will offer some products to the customers. Okay, so those ranks are available in the in another file. The file name is called lookup file. Okay, so not lookup file. The file name is called some input0.dat. So I have this file. This file contains some ranks. Okay, so to get the matching values from this file, I am including this URL in the lookup dataset component. I can call this file from this file. Okay, so now I want to add one more field, right? If you see my DML, there is no rank field. I want to add one more field for this input DML. How to add one more field? The components so far we covered is filter by special, reformat, sort within groups, and deduct sorted, join component. In all the components, there is one component where you can add the additional field. The component name is called reformat. Since I want to add the new field here, I want to go for the reformat component. Okay, so take the reformat component, connect this file to this file, this component, and take output file. Okay, so I'm doing this customer rank .dat, and the label is also customer amount with the rank. Okay, and in the reformat, coming to ports here, okay, edit, copy, go to your ports, output DML, paste. Okay, so I don't need this separator 2, separator 3. I need only customer first name. You can also combine to full name if you want. First name, last name, amount. In addition to this one, I need the rank also, right? So rank I have, rank DML I have in the lookup, right? So I am copying the rank DML. String of one rank. Copy this one. So this is what, why I am copying here. This is what you will do in your projects. You don't type DML always. You have to copy and paste whenever you need. Open this, ports, edit, edit. You can see one option here, right? See, when I click on edit, you can see one option. So you are about to edit a record format, but it is defined in another port. Why it is giving the message here? Okay, so I define my record format in the reformat component. The same was propagated to my output file. Okay, instead of editing here, I am editing in the output file component. That's why it is giving the message. So this is getting from neighbor, propagating from neighbor. Okay, you are about to edit a record format which is getting copying from another port. If you edit this one, it will also edit the port. That's why it is giving a message. You want to edit the source record format or copy of the record format. If you click on the first option, both will be changed. Your source and the propagating, both will be changed. If you click on the second option, edit a copy, then a new copy will be created. The original one will be reset. Okay, so now I want to edit both my reformat output file because both should be in sync, right? I'm editing the, you can understand this one easily later, no problem. So rank also I pasted. Okay, click on OK, save the changes, apply. Okay, close this one, open reformat. Okay, open the transform, right? And so now I can see transform editor. We already covered this one, right? In the transform editor, so I want to map the fields from input to output. Okay, so if I use in dot star, what happens? All my input field will be mapped to output field. Since I have the same column names, custody to custody, f name to f name, l name to l name, amount to amount. What about rank? Rank is not there in the input. Rank is there in the another data set which is called lookup. Okay, so how can I map the value from this one to this one? So let me rename this one. You can also use the same label, but just for understanding I want to rename to LKP curly braces. I'm giving like rank. I'm just renaming. Okay, so now how can I get the rank value from this file to this component to map? You understand, right? So I have to map the rank from this file to this file, this rank field. Okay, so if I have the port, I can connect. I don't have port here, so without having the port also you can get the value with the help of the functions. So we have a functions called lookup functions, like how you have the string functions, the decimal functions, date function. Lookup functions also there. Okay, so lookup functions are used to perform the lookup activity or join activity or matching activity on the another dataset from a transform component. Okay, you can call the lookup functions or you can use the lookup functions on any transform component, filter by expression component, reformat component, and other join component also we can use. And on the further components we are going to discuss all the transform components where we have the possibility to filter records, to map the routes. Okay, in all the components you can use the lookup functions to get the matching value, right? So edit the rule here, edit the rule. Okay. Right, so you can see lookup option here. If you click on edit rule, in addition to your input field you can also see the lookups option here. In the lookups you can see lookup function, lookup, our lookup. Okay, so your lookup section displays all the lookup datasets whatever you have. If you have the 10 lookup datasets in our graphic, it will show all the 10 lookup datasets. Okay, so now since I inserted only one lookup, it is showing only one lookup, right? You can see lookup here, right? So customer id, separator one, rank, so all these fields are you have in the lookup. So generally if you want to map the value from input output, how you will map? You will just click on the field, you can see in dot field name. Since you are referring from the input file, you can see in dot field name. Similarly for lookup also you can see lookup dot actually. But here if you want to get the lookup file from lookup dataset to output file, okay, you have to use the lookup functions, right? You can see lookup functions here. Expand the lookup functions. Okay, expand the lookup functions and right, so and you can use what is that, you can see all the lookup functions here, and each function has one purpose. So one function returns the matching record, another function returns the number of matches, and another function returns the successive records. Each function have one specific purpose. We will discuss one by one. So apart from these functions here, we can also have more functions in the latest version. So all functions we don't use, we will be using only 2-3 functions only. We will cover all functions also, no problem. So most of the functions I will cover, but we have many functions. Okay, we don't use all the functions. So you can understand. So whenever you have the requirement, you can just refer the help file. You can get the function. So it's like your string function only. So since you have hundreds of functions in the string category, you can outline all the 100 functions at a time, right? So based on your requirement, you can just pick the functions whatever you want. You can practice that. Okay, so now the first function we are going to cover, you can see the function syntax. Lookup of table name means your file name actually. Lookup of file name, expression is your key parameter. You can pass one key or multiple keys. If you see the syntax here, you can see the syntax, right? Lookup of file name, okay, and comma expression means your key field. Key comma key 1 comma key 2 comma key 3, multiple keys you can pass here. Okay, so if you click on this function, you can see the function displayed here. The first argument should be your lookup file name. Okay, so my lookup file name is your lookup dataset label name. My label name is LKP of rank. You have to provide the lookup file name here. Open the double quotes, LKP curly braces rank, close the curly braces, close the double quotes. Okay. Okay, so in the double quotes you must provide your lookup file label name, lookup dataset component label. Okay, second argument is your key field name. So you are trying to get the matching value from this lookup data set. So what is the argument you want to pass? I mean, what is the field name you are going to pass to get the matching value? What is the field name? Okay, the field name from your input flow. My input contains the customer ID, first name, last name, amount and all. So among all these fields, the matching key between my lookup data set and input file is a cust ID only. Okay, click on the cust ID. This is the syntax. Okay, so from the lookup operation on this lookup data set using the key input customer ID, if it is matched, then only you want to get the value. Which value you want to get? Rank you want to get, right? If it is match, rank you want to get from here. Okay, so type the syntax like dot rank you have to type. This means, you know, perform the lookup operation on the lookup data set with the name lookup rank. Okay, using the input field customer ID. If my input customer ID matched with the lookup customer ID, then extract the rank from the lookup file. Okay, so here generally how you will type, instead of typing the in dot rank, you are typing only lookup dot rank. So this is what you have to understand. So instead of typing in dot rank, you are just typing lookup dot rank, but lookup you have to provide the arguments. Okay, the first argument is your lookup dataset name, second argument is key field name. Okay, I will also type here your notepad. What is lookup? Okay, lookup file is a file which allows you to perform the lookup operation using the key field. Okay, so your lookup creates indexes in memory. Indexes in memory, hence okay. So you see the sentence here,
DV,
right? Yeah, Dinesh.
when it comes to many number of fields, which is faster, join or lookups? Like you want to
Yeah,
add
it's not about fields actually. It depends on the number of records. So because you are about indexes, right? In database, you know, you'll be using the indexes for the faster retrieval of the data records. Okay, you'll use the index in your database. In the same way, your lookup dataset components also has the capability to create the indexes internally in memory. Okay, so as I told, right, so
okay.
join requires sorted data. So by default, if you use a join component and if you set the input must be sorted option, you must provide the sorted data for the join component, right?
Yes.
So that is why you are including two additional components for the two files. You have to go for the two sort components. So you are sorting additionally, you are providing the sorted data to your join component. Your join has to work on the sorted data only, not in memory. In case even though you have
Okay.
the option in memory in the join also, okay, so
Mm.
what your join component will do, for if you want to use the in memory join also, you must to provide the max score. right? So mass score is the parameter you have to provide in the giant component. If you have the mass score 64 MB, 64 MB only can be used by your join. More than that cannot be used. Remaining data will be spilled into disk, right? But coming to lookup here, the advantage is the first difference is your entire lookup data store will be stored in the memory. Entire lookup. Even if you have 1 GB, 2 GB, 10 GB also, the default behavior of this lookup data set is it will try to push the entire data into your memory at the compilation time itself. Okay, you will get one more question here. If I have 10 GB data, if I have 1 GB memory, then if I go for the lookup, how can lookup handle 10 GB data in memory? That's why you have to make sure. So you are not required, I mean you are not supposed to go to lookup in all the cases. So whenever you have the records, those can be fit into main memory. In that case only you can go for lookup.
Okay.
In all the cases you don't need to go. So if you have TBs of data also, you cannot go for lookup. Okay, you should go for the
Okay.
giant only. If you have small amount of files that can be handled by the memory, then you are recommended to go to the lookup component, because lookup
Lookup.
has the first difference is it will load entire records into main memory. There is no mass core limit. Okay, so how much
Okay.
memory is available? Entire memory can be I mean can be occupied by the lookup data set. There is no max core limit. And the second difference is there is no concept of indexes in the join. Join won't create indexes even if you go for in memory,
Okay.
but lookup has the capability to create
Okay.
indexes. So indexes is the big advantage, because index is always faster than a regular join, regular filter criteria. That's why, so since you have the indexes, lookup always gives the better performance. But you have to make sure, so when you have the small amount of files only, I mean when you have the file, those can be fit into main memory, then only you can go for the lookup, otherwise you can go for the join. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the difference given by the Abinitio Corporation. But generally, what we will do in our projects is generally we don't bother about the file size and all. So if you have the requirement like I want to extract only one field, for example, by joining two data sets, I want to
Like.
extract only one field,
Mm.
then I will go for the lookup obviously, because I am not touching the entire field, I am
Yes.
touching only one field. Okay, so if in case if you want to go for the multiple fields, I want to join the multiple fields, I have the multiple complex transformation, then join is recommended, because anyhow you are touching the entire data
Okay.
set, you are extracting multiple fields, so then you can go for the join, because you may have the
Okay.
multiple fields, you may have the more number of records. Okay,
Okay.
so but
Okay.
in the latest version, the latest version they are providing one concept called black compressed lookup from 3.0 version onwards. So you can also see this,
Mm.
see that in the help file. Black compressed lookup is there. We'll discuss about that high level. Black compressed lookup
Mm.
is the one where you can provide the zip file also. If you have the
Okay.
if you have the big file also, instead of going for the giant component, you can go for the lookup by compressing the file. Okay, your lookup also handle the compressed file. Internally, it will uncompress the data. It can do the lookup operation. That is called black compressed lookup. So many options are there actually. Abinitio Corporation trying to minimize the giant component to increase the lookup component. Because why I am saying is, if you see my design here, see in the design itself you can understand the difference. So the first giant design, if you see, I have two additional components here. Two short components I am able to avoid here. My simple reformat is able to perform the giant operation. I can avoid two short components. I can save the time. That's why lookup is always recommended. Okay, so join also will use for more number of records and most complex transformation logic. Simple records you can go for the lookup. Okay, so coming back to our code here, right? Coming back to our code here, let me remove this one. Otherwise, it won't accept me to modify in the text mode. Okay, so here I told you the first option you can type the lookup functions by selecting lookup functions here from here. Second option is you can directly click on the field name. I want to extract rank, right? Click on the rank. Directly click on the rank. Dinesh, are you there? Srinivas, dropping off it seems. Srinivas?
Yeah, there I'm there.
Okay. Dinesh?
Yeah, I'm back. I lost the
Okay.
audio suddenly,
Okay, fine.
so I relogged in.
Yeah. So what I was showing here is the first option I showed
Black.
you is you can use the lookup functions here. Okay. You can click on the lookup function, you can pass the arguments, right? Second way of typing the
Hmm.
lookup function is you can directly click on the rank. Double click on the rank, you can see the functions automatically. You need not go for the lookup
Oh, okay.
shortcut.
Okay.
Okay. So here your argument should be the input file name, input file field
First ID.
cust ID. Click on
Hmm.
the invert cust ID. Don't get confused. You have to use the input cust ID, not your lookup cust ID. Because your lookup cust ID you already provided in the lookup dataset component. In the lookup dataset component key parameter you already given the lookup cust ID. Here you have to pass the input cust ID. Okay, that's it. Validate. Click on OK. Now this one to rank. Okay, simple, right? Validate. The same code you can see in the text mode also. View text mode. You can see the text mode code also. Out dot star equal to in dot star. Out dot rank equal to lookup rank. This label is important. Okay, so close. Now run the graph. You will get the same output like your giant component. Okay, so by using the lookup, okay, along with the reformat, so most you can use the lookup any transform component, but most of the graphs you will be seeing the lookup with reformat combination only, because you can get the matching value, you can apply the transformation whatever you want with the help of these two file combination, these two program components combination. You can avoid the join and sort components. Okay, so let me check the error. Same. So expected error. While executing transform reformat, null value in assignment for the outdoor track. Why I am getting null value? Any idea? So like my giant component only, I am trying to get the matching value using this code. Okay.
Cust ID not matching.
Yes, exactly. If the customer ID is matched, it will get the value. If it is not matched, it is trying to assign the null value, right? If you see my
So
output
priority
DML,
we have to.
set the priority.
Hmm.
Like my giant component. If you see the rank field here, rank is not nullable field, not nullable field. Okay. So if you want, you can make this as nullable field also. But the recommendation is don't touch the DML. Okay. For practice purpose, if you want, you can make nullable field. But I have to set the second priority. If there is no match, then what I want to do? Obviously, my rank will be 0. Set the second priority. Okay. You can go for the first condition also, right? You can use some if condition also. We'll discuss about if condition later, but the second priority I want to set in my text mode now. You can also I hope you already aware of setting the priority in the grid mode. I don't want to repeat again and again. I want to show you the priority in the text mode now. Okay, because grid mode you are comfortable to set the priority. Right click on the edit rule, right click on the rule, set the priority. But here the second priority I want to set for my rank is 0 if there is no match. Okay, this is my priority one. Between this double quotes we can use one here. Dinesh, left again.
No, no, I'm there.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
here.
Right, so okay, priority number one. So this is the default priority, or what is this, blank priority or null priority. Okay, so here okay, Gopi is also facing that problem. Sure, Gopi. Okay, so rank equal to 0 I am giving here. So in case if there is no match found out, then go to second priority, assign the rank as 0. Don't fail the process. So this is how you can set the priority between the colons in the text mode. Okay, so validate the rule to this. Okay, this is string value, right? Rank is string. I have to convert to decimal actually. Okay. So let me do one thing. In the same time, I'll show the typecasting also. Otherwise, I'll forget to show the typecast. So let me make it as decimal field. Okay, we'll discuss about typecast also. So rank I want to make as decimal, not string. I am converting string into decimal here. Decimal of 1 is my rank. Validate. So now my output is decimal, right? So if I use the reformat component, if I validate here, even it is validating, it will give error because this is the decimal field. So my rank is string field in the lookup. If you see the lookup, okay, my lookup DML rank is string field. I have to convert string into decimal. How to convert? Open this one. So just very simple typecast like your Java, exactly Java or C++ only. Use the decimal of, so data type length is 1, right? Decimal of 1. Close the, enclose the typecasting between the parentheses. Okay, this decimal of 1 should be between the parentheses. They should be enclosed between the parentheses. That's it. Okay, in case if you are using some kind of delimited DML, your output is decimal of comma rank, then you can use comma here also. You can use comma here also. Sorry, in double quotes or single quotes. You can use comma here also, or you can use null also. You can use like this also. Decimal of open double quotes, single quotes. Works for always. Okay, I am giving decimal of 1 in this case. Okay, here also, right? Typecast is not required. I am not enclosing any single quote. This is direct decimal value. Validate. Now run the graph. Okay. I got 11 records. I got all records. But matching records are only 5. Right? For only 5, you can. So I open only 10 records here. You can see 11 records. Okay. For match and records, I have the rank as, oh, rank is ABC. I thought 1, 2, 3. Okay, fine. So A rank we have, for the unmatched records we have 0, 0. Right? So this is how you can handle the lookup. Okay. So most of the projects, so nowadays we are going with the lookup only. We can see less number of giants, more number of lookups. Okay, lookup is very important for interview purpose and the join also. Once I am done with the all lookup concept, I will show you the difference. I will tell you the interview differences also. I will type on my notepad. We can also copy the same thing. But for now, we have to understand practically. We covered only one function now. And we covered the priorities also. So we covered only how to use the input file as the lookup file and how to get the matching value. Okay, and assign the ranks by using the priorities. So here you are getting the matching value, but my requirement is I want to separate the, what is it, I want to separate the matching records into one flow, unmatched records into another flow. Okay, right? So here if you go for my giant component, here I am able to get the matching records here. So if there is unmatched records, I am able to separate into 2 ports here. This port contain unmatched records from this file and all. Same way in the lookup also, my requirement is I don't want to get the, I don't want to apply some transformation here. I have a simple requirement. I have to separate the matching records with the lookup into one file, unmatched records into another file. What the requirement, right? I just want to segregate the records from this input file. Whatever the records or whatever the customers matching with this file, I want to store in one file. The remaining customers I want to store in another file. Okay, right? So for the purpose, reformat won't help you. Reformat contains only one port. Okay, if you want to increase the port, you have to go for the count parameter. You can increase the port here. You can increase the port to 2, Okay, so then also even if you increase the port to 2 also you will get the 2 ports here. But how can you separate the records? Where is the condition you can specify? You must go for the output index parameter. If you go for output index parameter, there you can mention if the value is matched, go to port number 0, else go to port number 1. You can mention there. But here in this version we don't have the lookup output index, right? Right. So the same operation you can also do using filter expression. Okay, using filter expression you can do the same operation, right? So you can either go for the reformat output index or you can go for the filter expression also to separate the matching records and unmatched records. We will see now how to do the filter expression. In this version we don't have one function, but I will show you the code. Okay, just note down the code. In the latest version you can practice the same thing. So my requirement is I want to separate, right? So let me take the new graph, keep it aside. I don't need this now. Let me disable this flow. Okay, so again Control C, Control V. So my label is changed now. Lookup rank 1. Lookup rank 1. Input file I am taking. Okay, I am taking filter by expression. Input file to filter by expression. Okay, let me enable optional ports. Actually, this is interview question actually. Well, we don't use this kind of scenario in our applications most of the times. But interview point of view, this is important. Match records. Okay, so how can you separate now? Right? So open this select expression. You can see the lookup functions here also. Right? Lookup rank one you are able to see. Expand the lookup function. So if you go for the first function, your first function is returning the matching value. So coming to functions now. Coming to functions, lookup functions. The first one is lookup function. Okay, your lookup function return type is very important. So return type, based on the return type only you can understand the behavior. You can assign the lookup to some output variable. Okay, look, return type is very important, right? Returns the matching value. Okay, so or returns the matching record from the lookup file. Okay, so the syntax is lookup of your file name, comma, key or keys dot matching field name. Okay, since the return type is record, you must assign this lookup function to some output variable, right? Example, out dot field you have to use, right? Out dot cd equal to our example. Okay, your cd. And one more thing, the field name can be anything. There is no concept of override key like your giant component. Here the field name can be customer ID. Here the field name can be CID also. That doesn't mean your both daemon should be in sync. The field name can be CID here, okay, in the lookup file. Here the key field name can be custody. There is no mandatory rule the both field name should be in the same name. Okay, so you can pass different names also, right? This is the first function syntax. You are able to extract the matching value and assign it to some output field. Second function is okay, to get the matching status. Okay, so that is matching status means whether the record is matched or not. I don't want to get the matching value here. I want to get the matching status. Okay, matching status I want to know. Right, either it can be true or false value. To get the matching status, the function name is called lookup underscore match. This is not available, okay, in this version. This is available from the 2.13, I think. This is 2.10 version. There it is not available. Lookup match returns matching status. Okay, so your matching status can be a long value in the sense, okay, non-zero means true, zero means false. Non-zero can be anything. Non-zero might be some 1, 2, 3 and so on. It can be 1000 also, it can be 2000 also. Non-zero means, okay, zero means false, right? That's why, so since your function is returning long value, the syntax of this function is long, okay, lookup match your lookup file name, comma, key or keys. Dot field name is not required because I am not extracting matching field. I am just checking the matching status only. That's it. This is the syntax. Okay. Syntax is this one. Syntax is this one. Right. Let me close it. Okay. Example. How you can use this function. Okay. I'm just showing some example here. Okay, so you can directly call the function in the filter by expression. I'll show you that. And the example I am going to type here is different. Okay, I'm taking one variable, right? So it can be something my reformat. I'm just showing an example here. Out equal to reformat of in equal to begin, and this is my reformat function. Okay, so here it is that function and name is okay, so I'm taking a variable called long. I can take int also, I can take long also. Okay, so I can take decimal also, no problem. So because your integer also can handle the long value, I can take long here. Status, so how can I declare a variable? So I am declaring a variable. This is comment line. Declare a variable to store the status. Okay, so right, let long status equal to lookup match of lookup file name, comma, key keys. Okay, so now what I will do is I am assigning a field, right, out dot rank as I told earlier. Okay, if what is that? If status. not equal to 0, status not equal, that means matching happened, status not equal to 0, then use lookup function now. Lookup of your file name, comma, in dot field name. Okay. Right. Sorry. Dot custody, comma, rank. Okay. Else condition, that is matched. Okay. That is not matched. Use rank as 0. Same thing I told in my reformat, I used priority actually. You can either go for the priorities as I showed here. Okay, you can use the priority also like this, or you can go for this function also. That is your choice. Check the matching status here. Assign the value however you want. If that is not matched, we can assign some default value also. Okay, this is one way of coding. Second way is this is second way of coding. You can go for this way priority also. Right. So now just to map the value, I am going for this function here. But now my requirement is okay, I want to separate the matching values into one port, unmatching values into another port. Then you can go for the direct function here. Open the filter by specification component. Okay, so in your version, the latest version, you can see the lookup match function also here, that is not available, but in the latest version that is available. Okay, so insert the function if you have, otherwise you can type the function. I'm just typing here, it won't work here. Lookup match of my lookup file name is lkp rank, okay, -1. This is my lookup file name. Okay, comma, key field is in dot custody. That's it. Simple statement you have to define here. If lookup match returns true, then all the records which caused to be written by this expression or function will be captured by the output port here. Okay, if I validate, it won't work. Okay, this function won't work. That is not required. Okay. If I validate, it won't work. Cannot find matching function for lookup match in this version. Okay, so in the latest version it will work actually. This is important interview question, so you can just remember the graph. Take the input file, write the lookup function here. All the matching records with this lookup will be captured by the output port here. Unmatched records will be captured with unmatched records here. Look, deselect port. Okay, you can either go for this graph or you can go for the reformat output index also. The same function you can define in the reformat output index by defining if condition, if lookup match. We can write the let us assume this is my lookup reformat output index. Okay, if lookup match, right? So if lookup match happen, go to port number 0, else port number 1. So this is what you can define in the reformat output index also. You can either go for this function or you can go for the lookup match using the reformat output index also. That is your choice. Okay, so just remember this graph. So that is about the second function, right? So if you don't have any question, we can go for the next function. So for function by function, right, you have to understand the difference. Why we have this number of function. The first function is to get the matching value. Yeah.
Every time you initialize a variable, we have to use let. Yeah.
Let I'll show you that.
Name.
Yeah, I'll show you that. Let
variable name.
So if you define the variable in the text mode, you have to use the syntax let, because most of the times you will be typing the text mode only for declaring variables, but in the grid mode that is not required. You can just define the variable in the record format editor itself. But here you have to understand this syntax, because most of the times you will see this kind of code. Let is the keyword to declare a variable. Okay, so you can initialize here, sorry, you can declare here, you can initialize later also. If you want, you can declare first, you can initialize later also.
Okay.
Okay, or you can initialize at a time also, like in Java. Okay. Okay, so yes, you can use let long status. Let is the keyword to declare a variable in Abinitio. Okay, and let data type your variable name. Similarly, you can use string, decimal, everything. You can use like decimal of 3. You can use decimal of some delimiter. You can use whatever you want. You can use anything. But this one I will show you in the rollup component. Rollup also will do, we
Oh,
have this concept actually how to declare variables, and I will also show there. Okay, so now you have to
okay.
understand the difference between the lookup and lookup match, because this is also interview question. So lookup returns the matching record, but lookup match returns the matching status only. Okay, so if the function returns the non-zero value, that means match was found out. If the lookup match returns the zero value, there is no match found out. Difference, right? So third function. So all the functions you have to practice like this. So you can use all the functions anywhere, whatever, wherever you want. In your reformat component, join component also I can use. Join, why I am saying here. Let us suppose I want to join three files. Two files are very big files. One file is very small file. I can join two files too. I can connect two files to join component. One file I can take as a lookup for here. In the join also I can call the lookup. If you open the giant
So,
transformation also, you can see the lookup, right? So where is my transform? If you open this transform, okay, if you see the grid mode here, here also you can see the lookup. You can see lookup here also. Okay, so you can use two files to connect to join, one file as the lookup also. That is your choice. That is why these lookup functions you can call anywhere, any transform component. Okay, so most of the times you will be seeing the graphs where you are using the lookup along with the reformat. This is a good combination actually. So most of the times you will use the lookup and reformat. Okay, so now two functions we covered, right? So I have one more requirement. So here if you see, uh, if I go for the reformat here, I have some 11 records here. Okay, I have some 11 customers or more customers. I have some customers here. Okay, so in my lookup file also I have customers. So out of these 11 customers, if you see my lookup file here, there is only one match in this case. Okay, so I have let it the data. I have 101 here, 101 here, right? So if you see, I have two times 101 here, two times I have. Here also I have only one time I have. For the first record I have the match, second record also I have the match. Okay, let's reverse the scenario. This can be my lookup file, this is my input file. Okay, so this is my lookup file and this is my input file now. In this case, for each record I have two matches. I mean, for my first record I have two matches here. Okay, 134 I have three matches. Okay, I think 134 is not there. In case if I have 134 here, I have multiple matches. So my intention here is, if you remember about our join component scenario, so even though I have the matches in my two files, I am getting the more matches or more record than the matching records. The question is, I have 10 records in one file, 20 records in another file. If I go for join component, so I have the 5 records only, matching records. Out of 120 I have the 5 matches only, but I am getting 7 records. Why I am getting 7? Due to duplicates, right? If you have the duplicate records in any of the file, you will get the duplicate matches. In the same way, in the lookup also you may have the duplicate matches. Okay, so even though you have the duplicate matches, your lookup function won't get all matches. It can receive only one matching value. If you see the function I am defining here, I am just calling the rank field from my lookup. I am calling the rank field from my lookup. Even though I have the multiple matches happen, even though I have the multiple matches in my lookup file, okay, I cannot accept all ranks and I cannot assign all ranks to one rank field. Got it, right? This is only one record. So I am mapping one record to output file. Okay. So while assigning only one customer ID, I cannot assign the multiple ranks to one record. This is not vector field. If you have the vector field, you can assign the multiple records as the multiple elements to a vector field. This is only single record. For a single record, I cannot match the multiple ranks. That is why by default, your lookup function returns the first matching only. Okay. Not in this version. Not in this version. If you take the version 2.14 onward, 16 onwards, okay, by default, your lookup function returns the um, first matching only. Okay, even they have the multiple matches. But my requirement is, I want to know how many matches are there in the lookup file. I want the count actually. Number of matches I have. I want the count. Okay. To know the number of matches, right? For a field, I have the lookup count function. You can see lookup count here also. You can see lookup count here. Okay. So the next function is lookup count to get the count of matched records. Okay. Do we have the lookup count function? Syntax is lookup count. It is only count, right? It can be either decimal or long also. Okay. File name, same syntax. Key or keys. That's it. Okay. I think lookup count doesn't read the count. Okay, right. Syntax is right. Okay. So right. So it returns the count, right? Right. So it returns the number of matches. Returns the number of matches. Okay. So example is take a variable if you want. You can take decimal variable also. Decimal of 10 I am taking, count I am taking. You can use like count equal to lookup of your file name, comma, key can be your customer ID. I'm taking some in dot customer ID. Okay, that's it, right? You can use this count if you want. So you can assign this count to one output variable, out dot number of yes, number of matches equal to, okay, count. Remember, to assign a value for the variable, you have to use the equal to operator to assign a value. But to assign the value for my actual output field, I have to use the double colon. This is the difference. Okay, I am just using a variable assignment here. Okay, let me show you the same example now. We'll try. Let me change this one. This I want to use as a lookup. Okay, let me disable this one. So this I want to use as lookup, right? My amount file is lookup now. I want to convert this as a lookup. And I am getting call from my office. Okay, I am back. Right. Okay. So here I want to change this as lookup amount. Okay. So the description I want to convert this as a lookup actually. Going to parameters, keys, customer ID I am giving. Okay. So now this is my lookup. This is my input file. Okay. So rank is my input file. The output also DML should be changed, right? Okay. So first name, last name, and I have, right? Good. So now my logic will be changed. Rank I will assign from the input file, and okay, customer ID and rank I am assigning from the input file. first name, I'll just come. Right. Okay. First name I want to map from my lookup file, right? So I want to know the count also, right? So how can I get the count? Let me create the new field to store the count value. Opening this DML. Okay. So after rank, I am creating a field called decimal of 3. I am giving like number of matches. Okay. Open this reformat, transform. Lookup first name I want to map from my lookup only, right? So click on the first name, pass the input field. Map this one to your first name. Again, same rule. Expand this one. Last name. Pass the field. Okay, map this one to last name. Okay. Map this one to last name. Amount also edit rule. Take this one. Amount or input TML. Map this one to amount. Rank you are writing from input only. So number of matches you need the count function, right? Expand the lookup. Click on the count. Provide your file name. Lookup of amount is your file name. Field name. Validate. Map this one to number of matches. You can also see this in the text mode. Okay. Text mode code. This is not right. See the changes. Okay. Unmatched records. Disable, right? So okay. Priorities I have to set right. DML first name is amount I am getting from my required. Okay, I got 9 records, right? View data, you can check the output. Okay, so first for matching I got the value, unmatching I got null, 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 because the default value I mentioned is null here. You can see null here. You can see matching amount. If there is no matching, you can see 0 as the default value as in my DML. Okay, number of matches 2 I have, number of matches 0 for this, that's why I have the null here, 0 here and 0 matches. Similarly for another record also, there is no matching, null I have, 0 I have the number of matches. Okay, so number of matches 2 I have, number of matches 1 I have for this one. Right, you can get the number of matches also. The actual purpose of this lookup function is not this one. I mean, lookup count function is not to assign the number of matches to output field only. There is one more purpose actually. We will discuss about that also. Okay, so there is one more function called lookup next function. Why we have that function? Right, so because so here in these three functions I am able to get the matching record in first function, and matching status in the second function, and matching count in the third function. But even though I have the two matches here, I am able to get only one match. Right, even though I have the two matches here, I am able to get only one matching value. One name I am getting, one last name, one amount only. I am not getting the another name, another last name, another amount. I am getting only first matching here. But I want to get all matches. I want to capture all matches. Okay, to capture all matching records, I have the lookup next function. We have lookup next function. We have to get successive matching records. Successive in the sense all records. It returns all matching records. Okay, all matching. If you have two matches, two records will be returned. Two values will be written. If you have 10 matches, 10 values will be written. One match, one value will be written. Okay, so most of the times, so 90% of the application you will be working on the first function only, lookup, and sometimes you'll be working on the lookup match also. So generally you don't use the lookup count function and lookup next function in the projects, because generally we don't get any such type of requirement to get all matches. In case if you have the requirement, you have to go for the lookup next. Okay, so lookup next also I cannot show you here. There is some issue in this version to get the all successive record, but I will give the code. Okay, we have to define the for loop here, declare a variable, use the for loop to get the matching records. Okay, so what I will do in the next session, I will show the example of lookup next, because you have to just understand the lookup today, practice the lookup with the first function and the lookup count function. Match you cannot practice, but try to define the code on your notes. Lookup match, lookup count. Try to understand these three differences. Tomorrow I will tell you about the lookup next function also. Okay, lookup next function, I will show some example. You can copy the same code, you can use the same code in the latest version, but I cannot show you the output here. Code I will give for lookup next also. And these four are important. So remaining our functions are not required at all. We don't use remaining functions. So even though we don't use we have the many functions in the L file, right, shared with you. I will go through the some of the functions tomorrow. Theoretical I will explain you the lookup functions here, because we have n number of functions. Okay, so we cannot discuss all the functions in the session. You can easily understand the functions if you type the functions. Functions. Okay, functions by category. You can see the lookup functions. You can see n number of functions here. So I will go through all the functions, no problem. But practically I cannot show you here, and you don't work on all the functions. So functions are like better to learn the functions. At least the function definition, if you can apply practically in your projects if you have the requirement. I don't think you will get the requirement to apply all the functions. Okay, tomorrow I will discuss about remaining functions, and we have to discuss about dynamic lookup, catalog lookup. Two concepts we have to discuss. 1 hour, 1 more hour we have to discuss about lookup. After that I will go to the summarization, how to summarize the data. Okay, so we have sessions tomorrow and day after tomorrow only. 28th we have, 29 we have, 30 I will be